Be right back. You can count.
He's like, I'm out.
And I'm done.
I'm out.
Okay.
You girls are crazy.
Okay, I think we are good to go. So,
Hi, everybody. It's Lisa Krutbosch, and we are here with our Learning Curve Summit. So it must be Thursday at 4 o'clock. And Valerie Mercado, our vice chair. Hi, Valerie. So today's guests are Kevin Pearce with the State Parks Oceano Dunes District. And we have Wayne Foster here from BJ's ATV Rentals. Thank you so much, both of you gentlemen, for being with us today.
Yes, sir.
thank you.
Yeah, my
Thank
pleasure.
you.
So hot topic, the Oceano Dunes.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's in your ballpark there, Kevin. So for beginners, though, your title is Chief Ranger. Is that accurate?
Yes, yeah. So Kevin Pearce here, Chief Ranger for Oceano Dunes Districts, and we manage and operate both Pismo State Beach and Oceano Dunes State Victory Recreation.
So what does the Chief Ranger entail? Like,
My normal job is I'm in charge of kind of the law enforcement aspects of our operation. All the rangers that we have working here, our seasonal lifeguards that provide all the medical response and all of the aquatic safety activity responses. In charge of, we have a classification of employees called interpreters and educators, and they provide outdoor education. And so I'm in charge of that part of it. We provide kids programs, campfire programs.
I've seen those. Great job. Great job on that.
Yeah. And then, of course, part of that is working with our state contracted business partners, such as Wayne for BJ's and 8 other business partners that operate under contract with the state to use the facilities of the park.
And so outside of BJ's, do you know, so can you mention who the other 7 businesses are?
Yeah, so we have Wayne of BJ's, and we have 3 other business partners that operate and rent OHVs, off-highway vehicles, and that's Sunbuggy, Steve's ATV, and Arnie's ATVs. On top of that, we have another operation that provides Hummer tours, and that's Pacific Adventure, and we have a business partner who just recently moved to walk away from his business, and that was Love to Camp, which
Oh, right.
has rented trailers on the beach for, been under contract with us for about
And
10 years.
I'm familiar with that. So I actually work with the Love to Camp that handles the Morro Bay, Paso Robles area, and they're all still running and functional and still renting RVs, but so that's completely separate from the Oceano Dunes Love to Camp. But yes, I've heard that they've pretty much dissolved and sold off their trailers, and
Yep. Yeah, it's an unfortunate partnership that came to an end. Yeah, and we have our partner at Yo Banana Boy that operate a beach store, some camping pump out services, air services. We have a contract with our local tow company, and they provide pop out services for vehicles that may get stuck out on the beach.
right.
And of course, we partner with Finn's Restaurant, Pismo State Beach Golf Course up there off of Grand Avenue.
Yep, we know Bruce. And so clearly all of these businesses have been very impacted by what's been happening, not only with COVID, but now I know they're closed until October 1st as of now. And if you want to kind of just give us an update on what's happening out there, I know the snowy plover, that's happening. And do we know anything beyond that, I guess?
Yeah, so I can give you kind of an update in a nutshell. So obviously COVID hit us early in the year. State parks in general, across the board, shut down all of our campgrounds in the middle of March. So we in turn, Oceano Dunes District operates the beach camping as well as 2 developed campgrounds at North Beach and Oceano. So those campgrounds locally for us closed down at the same time as we did across the board for the state. And then later on in March, again, due to COVID concerns, we ended up, again, across the board, a lot of the coastal units ended up going to what we call soft closure. And pretty much eliminating significantly parking opportunities at our beaches and a lot of our parking. So that happened late March. And effectively for us at Pismo State Beach and Oceano Dunes, we basically closed the gates at Pier and Grand Avenue, and then nobody was able to drive onto the beach at that point in time. And we kind of, the beach was open, right? We were just open and available for
Right.
recreation, kind of walk in and do that. So that's kind of where it started, right? So we, as a state and a nation, kind of continue to manage and move through COVID concerns and kind of responding and reacting to new information. And that kind of took us up through April into May. A lot of parks started, a lot of state parks and counties and cities across the state started kind of reevaluating and looking at ways to improve access for areas that might have been closed. And that's kind of the start of the time where we locally started reviewing our plans to restore access, vehicle access back to the beach, to let people back on the beach. Coincidentally, at the same time as the closure happened, is the beginning of our shorebird nesting season. And so, you know, my park staff were still in the park operating, doing our operations, you know, just because people and vehicles aren't on the beach, you know, we continue to manage the park that we normally do. But without the presence of the public, it really kind of opened up the door for changes in our park and the use, and our shorebirds really took advantage of that. So without the public camping and using the beaches, the shorebird population kind of started spreading their wings and started using other parts of the park that they aren't normally using. And so now, you know, we're still in obviously a response to COVID and making sure, especially, you know, with today's report from the county and just again state and nationwide, you know, we're still addressing COVID concerns, but my concern has now been shifted from fully COVID to now protecting the shorebirds and again addressing kind of county and statewide responses for allowing access onto the beach. So we're kind of working through that, and that's changing the options that I have before me. So still discussing that with my direct staff. I have a plan in place, and we're reviewing that. However, during this period of time, we've come to an agreement with the California Coastal Commission. And so regardless if we open up the beach access next week or in 3 weeks, we've agreed to, you know, restrict any further public activity for vehicle use and camping and off-highway vehicles south of Coast 3, which is in the SVRA, the Oceano Dunes SVRA, the OHV area. So yes, we won't have any camping or any OHV activity or any public vehicle activity in the SVRA, at least until October 1st. And we're looking to kind of restore that beach coastal access to the rest of our community sometime in the near future, at least to get people back onto the beach, able to picnic, enjoy the sunsets, park and fish and hang out with kids and go surf. But no definitive time for that to happen yet, but it's kind of where we are. And yeah, obviously that's had an impact to partners that I've partnered with, such as Wayne and others, but also recognizes huge impact to, you know, the rest of the county and state in general, but certainly our area has been pretty heavily impacted.
Right. And so, well, Lisa, did you have, as I'll keep on talking if you don't jump in.
Well, I was just going to ask, you know, from Wayne, with the Oceano Dunes still being closed and hearing that it's going to be closed until October, tell us a little bit how that is impacting your business and what it's doing, you know, for you and all your employees that you had, I'm sure.
So real quick, I want to address Kevin's audio. We're getting, you know, saying that it's really low. So, you know, just kind of talk a little bit louder. Maybe
your microphone closer to you now?
It's his
I'll
computer.
work on that.
Oh, it's your computer. Oh, that sounded good.
I'll work on that.
Yeah. Okay.
We have 69 people watching us as of right now. So
and 11 comments right now. So
yeah.
So anyhow, go ahead, Kevin.
Nope, Wayne.
Wayne. Wayne, you're up.
Are you asking how I'm impacted?
Yes.
Can't do anything. I do get the guys come in here once a week, every other week. We move the ATVs, trucks around, start them, charge batteries, air tires up, try to keep stuff moving. I come here quite a bit and do that, but other than that, there's nothing we can do. We've done some maintenance for a while, but we've been shut down so long that I got to reserve capital. As far as the employees, they're making good unemployment money.
Right.
In all honesty, most of them don't because they make more sitting at home than working.
Yeah,
Wayne,
we're
how
hearing
many-
that
how
from a
many
lot of
employees do you-
businesses.
Yeah. So if that ends the end of this month, it'll change perspective a little bit. I can tell you now.
Right.
When
Right.
they were talking about, Kevin said there's a possibility we could open in July. I was getting things ready, brought guys in, and several of my people never even responded back to me about coming back to work.
How many guys do you have that works for you, Wayne?
I mean,
Or that how many guys were working?
22.
20.
22 employees.
Wow.
So it's and you know, the PPP money, it was for 2 months. We're going to be 6 months minimum, from what I hear. So it's a long ways away.
Well, and like I was saying the other day, some of the businesses have had the opportunity to have
make income.
some degree of opening,
Right.
there have been a lot. And so your situation's a little bit different in that. So, and
We'll actually be starting over. I mean, like a new business.
right.
Because we'll be busted down so bad. We use spring break, Easter, Memorial Day, the summer, Labor Day.
Yeah.
That builds us up for
Oh, yeah.
winter to keep our
Oh, yeah.
employees on, because we run at a loss almost all winter.
Right.
So to keep the employees, we dip out of our reserve fund. We don't even have that this year.
Right.
So we don't know what winter's gonna be like yet.
Right.
Really don't. And it can't change anything. All we can do is, as of right now, I just don't have anybody working. I'm reserve as much capital as I can so I can try to open back up and try to, if we don't have rain on Thanksgiving like we've had the last couple of years, that'll help.
Yeah.
But when we get a rainy Thanksgiving, it really hurts.
Okay.
Sure.
We
Sure.
will be praying for no rain.
Right.
You can't change it.
Well, we can pray.
Yeah. Being in this business, I appreciate a farmer. I never understood it till I got in this business, why they complain so much, but now I know why.
Yeah. How about Christmas and New Year's? Does that bring you any business at all? Or
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was saying that's what
One of the best times, yes.
people go out and camp out there on the dunes for a week or two at a time during those times, it's
Yeah.
amazing. So yeah, a lot of family traditions down there. So it's
But I think this year's gonna be different because so many people are gonna be afraid. We get a lot of out of towners out of country. A lot of people out of the country.
right.
And we're not gonna get that this
You're
year.
not going to get that. Yeah.
yeah.
So it's gonna be, I feel like the airlines, we're gonna be a new normal, but a smaller new normal.
Mhm.
So there's no way I'm gonna have 22 employees working because we're not gonna have the business. I want to have the reserve. So it's gonna be, we downsize what we can. We had the employees there so we could get as fast service as possible. Now, I hate to say it, but we'll probably be, when we get them super busy days, there'll be some wait times
Yeah.
because we're not gonna be able to keep the employees to do it. And we're not gonna have the crowd just except for on them holidays. That's it.
Right.
It's hard to have employees to run them half a dozen holidays and then keep them all year. Nobody wants to work just 5, 6 busy days or busy weeks.
Right.
And then there's, 52 weeks out of the year. So it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is going to be tough. Now we're getting, and this isn't a surprise, but a lot of the feedback that we've gotten have been, the outdoors is supposed to be the safest for us, and camping is encouraged and outdoors, and so, which is coming up on our feed, why doesn't it make sense for people to be able to be out camping on the beach? Because that's one of the safest things that we're encouraged to be doing, because you could be in a family unit, you could socially distance out there. Our beach community has proven that. And so I think there's frustration, as you guys know, in regards to that. So do you want to speak to that a little bit?
Kevin, that was yours. Protect the
Evan?
wildlife.
I mean,
Tell them why them birds pay more taxes than we do.
Yeah, certainly we recognize the frustration, and that's why Oceano Dunes is here, right? We have our campgrounds. We serve over 2 million visitors a year. Close to 1 million of those are camping with us, either at developed campgrounds or on the beach. So, yeah, we recognize kind of the impact that it's having on the families that do come out to us and have those family traditions and come to us every year, every summer, and over the holidays. So, again, it's an unfortunate set of circumstances that kind of led us to, obviously we're dealing with COVID, and that's a horrible, situation that we're all addressing, and then, the unintended impacts and consequences of, not having that activity on the beach, and now we have to address, continue to manage for our shore groups, and manage those protected species. So, state parks here for me at Oceano Dunes, I want to get our visitors, for me, for state parks, right, our visitors aren't just locals. I can't control that, and state parks want to control that. When I say visitors, it's, like Wayne said, I mean, we have people from out of the country, all
Right.
across this nation that come here. So, there's nothing more that I want to do and that my staff want to do is to get back to kind of some kind of normal operations and provide the services that we've been doing for decades. But yeah, unfortunately, we're dealing with the circumstance that we have at hand, and that's going to prevent any beach camping, at least until, later on this year. And part of that kind of reopening plan that I already kind of spoke to, we'll be looking to, try and get our other developed campgrounds open, open in a shorter period of time as well. And obviously working amongst, kind of direction and guidance from the governor's office and our county partners that we've been working closely with throughout this whole kind of pandemic response. So, Oceano Dunes District, we're a state agency. Obviously, we report to the governor's office and work collaboratively across the state with all state governments, but we recognize our value and our part of the community, specifically San Luis Obispo. And so, yeah, so the county partnership that we've had with county leaders and, of course, our local neighbors with the cities have been huge, and they've been kind of helping shape inform our strategies and our planning efforts to reopen the park. And again, let's start reintroducing some of that access here. I'd like to say, in short order. I won't dare give a date right now because that's there's still more discussions, but
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'm working on, and it's what our staff are looking forward to is kind of getting our visitors back on the beach and starting to be able to spread out more on the beach and stick with the family units and get some more
Exactly.
access to
Right. And
folks
people are even saying,
those
even
used
to be able to drive on the beach, even if they weren't allowed to, sit out on the beach, but just to be able to drive out
Right.
there, have
absolutely.
dinner and enjoy the sunset like we used to and all of that. So I guess the question then becomes is, I know Wayne, you've said there's nothing that can be done, but is there anything that the community can do or that they can, send information to or email, or is there anything they can do to say, this should be safe. This makes more sense to be outdoors with, our families to be able to social distance, and that we want this to be open. Is there, for the people out there that are pushing for that?
Well,
Is
that's not the problem. I mean, when you got a federally protected bird,
well, right.
that's why we're not out there. Am I not right, Kevin?
That's what we're talking about. Yes.
Okay, so what can you do? Tell them go away. I mean, that's all you can do. You move them, we can go back out. And we can't move them, can't touch them.
No, right.
So, I
So
mean,
that could,
people are frustrated. They say we can go outside, but they're not going to let us out there until they're gone.
and so the date of October 1st right now is tentative based on that. Is that?
The day of October 1st is kind of, that was identified as kind of the end of what we consider the nesting season.
Okay. So it could potentially be sooner. It could potentially be later. I mean,
Well, the agreement that state parks entered with the Coastal Commission has the date of October 1st is kind of the earliest date that we can get back out on the beach and
okay.
get back to some kind of normal operations.
Okay. So hopefully that all works out. as October 1st. So you want to see if there's any questions, Lisa, that we can touch on? And then the other conversation that's come up recently, or through the press and whatnot, has been the amount of sand, of course, that's blowing. And since the pandemic has hit, there's talk about, it's the same amount of sand, it's the same. So we don't have Coastal Commission on the call, but is there any update on what's happening there, if that's actually being assessed during this time?
So State Parks is still doing all of our projects that we've committed to, working with our local air pollution control districts. And so we are out there now monitoring conditions, still collecting data. So we're still doing all the work and efforts that we've been doing for the past 10 years. So we're collecting that information. It'll be collected and analyzed by the experts that we've hired to review that information. And hopefully we'll inform some management decisions as we continue to look to next year and the next projects that we need to implement to help try and identify some kind of solutions to local air quality issues.
Okay, so that's ongoing, I guess.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So
we have 92 people, and most of the people on here, they're not really stating questions. Some of them are more just frustrated that that the snowy egret doesn't pay taxes like we do, and why are we protecting this bird? Somebody says surf camps are allowed, but no ATVs, which is totally social distancing. So being at surf camps, that are going out to Pismo Beach with, 40, 50 people, they're not social distancing. So what's the difference with the ATVs? But the problem with the ATVs are just because of the snowy bird. Am I correct?
That's correct. Yeah, that area right now is closed now, and under that agreement that we've discussed, because of our shortages. Correct.
And so when you guys had to close down in March, do you know how many cancellations you guys had? I mean, you guys had to have like,
Oh my gosh.
it had to be like insane.
My wife gave me some numbers, but it I guess from March through July. What is it? Oh, okay. Is $700,000
Wow.
in lost gross revenues.
Yeah, and so for state parks, obviously, the standard system that we use, people can reserve their campgrounds 6 months in advance.
Right.
Typically July 1st is July 4th is booked out. As soon as January rolls around. So we've been kind of doing this rolling cancellation as these timelines keep on getting extended, and these closures still remain in effect. So I know that's been frustrating for a lot of our visitors. They see that you can make a reservation, so they book a reservation, and then 3 weeks later the reservation gets canceled. And it has been a perfect system. State Parks has worked with our contractor to make it. Shipper can't approve the system, but we recognize that. But yeah, for me, I mean, the whole state, right? I mean, the whole economy is, taking a big hit now from the impacts, and our state government, state parks, is trying to make up for a pretty huge windfall. Locally for me, state government, but still kind of operating as a business. I know my numbers for that revenue that we've lost from our campers, specifically, and I'm looking at close to $750,000 in lost camping revenue, and that's the people staying in our 3 different campgrounds that we have. Another, I don't know, probably upwards of $300,000 that we've lost in revenue for people just paying the $5 to come out for the day. And of course, as Wayne mentioned, we have our business relationships with our 9 contractors and concessions. So we, that contract is a based on rents paid to the state. And so we've lost some pretty good revenue from that as well. So yeah, it's a big hit locally for our state operation.
Jeez.
Somebody here has posted that they are staying at Pismo Coast Village and it's jam packed. Why can't we drive on the beach or camp just north of the beach at the Oceano campgrounds?
Yep, and I'll be looking to restore, reopen North Beach and Oceano campground. That's part of the plan I'm working on right now, is to get those two campgrounds back open.
And so with that plan, who does that plan get, proposed to, or who do you take that to for consideration or approval?
Yeah, so I've developed my plan, and I have kind of my timelines that I've identified that I'd like to get things back open for business. And so obviously, working state agency, we take our kind of direction from the governor's office, and obviously my department exec staff. So we want to make sure that our actions are in line with COVID conditions and concerns. And then I also like to get concurrence from our county partners to make sure that we're aligned also kind of locally and kind of having a consistent regional approach to allowing activities in the park that we know is going to bring people from out of the area. So again, I mentioned we're part of the community. So those are all kind of factors that I take into consideration. So, but ultimately, yeah, it's my plan, and just kind of getting that concurrence from my exec staff for final approval on that.
Well, it's good to have a plan because, yeah.
So I have maybe it's not a very smart question, but what if the bird leaves in the beginning of September? If it leaves the nest in the areas where the ATVs ride, is there a possibility that those areas could be opened before that October 1st date?
It's not likely to happen. So the actual nesting, scraping out some sand and laying eggs and having the eggs hatch. We're getting to the point where we're towards the end of where nests are being created, where eggs are being laid and the birds are hatching. So we're getting towards the end of that right now. So what we have and what we're concerned on is the development of those birds and kind of the periods that they take to grow up and fledge from the nest is what we call it. And so again, it's kind of the nesting season was kind of the figure that they used to come up with that, September 30th, October 1st dates. So there's certainly, we expect the birds to still be in the park. They remain, we have a good population that remains in the park all year long. So they're not really going to go anywhere. But to get to the point where we're introducing additional activities that maybe they're not accustomed to, and making sure that we reintroduce that thoughtfully and with the resources and the birds in mind and other considerations too is kind of the approach. So if there's an opportunity for us to revisit and we see that conditions on the ground are changing to where that might be an option for us, we'll certainly look at it and bring that conversation back to those partner agencies. But yeah, at this point in time, we're just kind of monitoring and looking forward to October 1 date.
Yeah.
So there's a question. It says from Jared, how many miles of beach is there for the dunes? How many miles of the beach was open for riding before COVID?
Well, we have, I operate about 6.5, 7 miles of shoreline. And so obviously from Grand Avenue south to Post 2 is your street legal vehicles, 2.5 miles, and then 4 miles of shoreline from Post 2 to Post 8. So for OHV activity, it's 4 miles of shoreline. There's 1,300 acres that we have for OHV recreation. For street legal vehicles, it's an additional 2 miles from Post 2 up to Grand Avenue that is open for vehicle traffic.
Okay.
And we have here Jim, who is saying that he would like people to join Friends of the Oceano Dunes, which is oceanodunes.org. So if anybody is interested in joining that to help with the dunes, there is that oceanodunes.org.
And John.
Friends of Oceano Dunes.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, he didn't write that Friends of Oceano. He just put oceanodunes.org.
So John Bruman is asking how much additional wind fencing has been put up since the dunes has been closed.
If we're talking specifically about COVID, we all of our spring and seasonal wind fence projects were already installed. Um, so we currently have our, again, we kind of talked about just our ongoing air quality efforts. We had already had in place 2 20-acre wind fence projects that we had already planned and discussed with our local air pollution control districts as part of our seasonal efforts this year. So yeah, we have those 40 acres plus some remaining wind fencing that's been in the park for a little over a year now. That's looking to be the next area that gets restored and planted with some vegetation.
Trying to see. So there's obviously comment on, the Coastal Commission, and, that kind of keeps coming up clearly. And how is that relationship? How do you guys work with them, and how does that all flesh out?
I think of it as an ex-wife. And I've never had one.
Yeah, so locally, my office, for state parks, we call our regional areas and offices districts. So my district works collaboratively with the Coastal Commission's district office, and their office is located in Santa Cruz. So, it's a good staff-to-staff relationship. We pick up the phone, conduct business. We have our operation management objectives as a state agency, being state parks, and Coastal Commission has their concerns and mandates for coastal act and coastal development. So, we work on those issues that we need to address across kind of the boundaries. But yeah, good relationship.
We have a question here that Kevin Jones is asking, are we going to get the 48 acres back for camping?
So the 48 acres, I'm assuming, is kind of our most recent air quality project. And right now that's been part of our agreement with regional air pollution control districts as a project area. So currently that's a project that we committed to improving our regional air quality. So as of right now, no, there's no plan on it. It's coming back to Greenville camping. So that's where we are right now with that.
So Wayne, what can people do to help you and your business during these hard times? I know a lot of people are saying, give money to the Oceano dunes, but does that money go to you and to help you with your business?
No.
No. So what can the community?
I'm willing to take any, but no.
What can the community do to help you out?
When he's open, I guess rent ATV.
Yeah, seriously, there's nothing. Yeah. When we open, I mean, that's about it.
Yeah.
He runs a parts store too. So if there's any agricultural businesses in the area that need some repairs or parts or pieces.
Oh, that's right. You said you do something else. So talk about that.
Parts.
Yeah.
Well, we have accessories and parts in here, but with nobody coming,
right,
nobody's coming in.
Right.
That's the problem. So it's still, and there isn't enough sales in here to justify an employee or two.
Yeah.
Do you
so when I'm in here, I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
I
in
was
here
going to ask you
or cleaning. If somebody walks in, if they want something, I'll sell them something. But other than that, no.
Do you rent out your ATVs to ride them anywhere else around in this area? Is there anywhere else that people could go riding that they could be?
I don't do it, no. And I really don't know where you can go around here. I've heard of Hollister. I'm not from the area. I'm from the Midwest, so I couldn't even tell you. Right. I had a man come up today. They're going to some farm. They wanted to rent one to go to a farm, but.
So people are saying, Wayne, do you have gift cards? People can use them for future use. We've as the chamber, we've had, other businesses call out and say, we're basically going to close our doors if something major doesn't happen. And we've come to the table and, put it on social media and blasted it out to as many people as we can. And amazing things have happened for some businesses, not to say that we're the savior of that. However, people here are saying, hey, do you have gift cards? Can we, our community will help here and there where they can. I mean,
No, and I appreciate it. A lot of locals come in. I just, we rent ATVs. That's our main bread and butter. And, if we can't rent, there's really
so
nothing.
No gift cards. Gift cards are not going to be an option.
Well, I mean, we've got them, yes.
Okay.
But they're basically no different than when you come in. You with me? But yes, we do have gift cards. They can call, buy them, or
okay.
I think we even have them, offer them online, I believe.
You think you offer, because if you offer them online, if he offers them online, I'll go ahead and put a link up to for people to purchase gift cards. And
okay.
As frustrating as this all is, I know, but if our community and people that support you throughout the years want to support you, then I say, let them, let's let them do that, because this is a way that they can feel good about knowing that, hopefully they're going to have somewhere to rent ATVs once this is all over,
I prepared, took a credit line out to get to, as I call it, restart when we get to open. I mean, I visualized it as when I came here in 2013. I started with 33 ATVs and 3 employees. I'm up to 250 ATVs and 22 employees.
Man,
I have to start over again.
Yeah.
Now I do have a bunch of ATVs. I can still have my 200 ATVs, but we got to have the rentals.
Right.
Rentals to pay the employees. That's my biggest cost, employees.
Right.
So with the rental income, I can bring more people back.
So where are you storing all your ATVs? Are they all right there on your grounds?
Yeah,
or
I have an acre here.
Yeah. Okay.
Ground, so.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's a daunting task keeping them. When we're renting them all the time, they're moving. We're always checking the oil.
Right.
Now when they're sitting, it's a daunting task.
Right.
And it's boring. Nobody wants to just go up and turn a key and start an ATV and shut it off. They want to go ride it. I got 20 something. They want to go ride. They don't want to just hear and shut it off. So it's tough to get them to do it.
Yeah. Well, I hate to say it. I'm sure you hear it all the time, but hang in there. There's a big supportive community behind this, and that aren't going anywhere, and they're super excited to get back. And
well, we've got so many. We had a bunch of reservations, we said,
right,
and we reached out to them, said, hey, we'll refund you money, or if you want to leave it on the books till when you open, we'll give you an extra hour free.
Right.
So I'll tell you what, probably 50% of them took that.
Yeah.
So I got loyal people, and they're going to come back when we can open.
Yeah.
But now we've had several that's canceled because we thought you'd be open by the time of summer.
Right.
So, and we graciously gave everything back. Anybody wanted back, we gave it back. It wasn't a problem.
Right.
And all we can do is when we get going is fire it up.
Yep.
That's about it.
Wayne, if you would give everybody what your website is. So if they do want to buy a gift card to use for in the future and send some money your way, can you tell everybody?
www.bjsatvrentals.com. bjshrentals.com.
Perfect. So everybody help Wayne out and buy a gift card today.
And I'll put it in there. I'll put it in the feed here. And there's several other businesses that are severely impacted in addition to BJ's. So, I'd encourage anybody to reach out to any of the businesses that you normally would support. I think at this time, just hearing someone say, hey, how are you doing? We miss coming out there. We miss you guys. We'll be back. Do you guys have gift cards? Do you have anything currently available where we could help support and send it to our friends and family? That means a lot, and I think goes a long way too. So anyone out there watching this, continue your support. It's so desperately needed right now for a lot of businesses.
Yes. Yeah. So Kevin, there's a question about air quality and if that has changed with the dunes being closed. Can you tell us anything about the air quality right now?
Yeah, probably nothing more than what is kind of out there already. So, I mean, you know, you can still get on to and check out the air quality index, right, for local regional readings on our stations in the area. You can get to that through the UPCD's website here. Yeah, so, you know, we've had some exceedances. A lot of the beaches been, a lot of parks been closed to vehicles. So, you know, what that means, you know, I can't speak to that. But yeah, it's been, you know, there's been some exceedances of PM10 emissions in the park while the park's been closed to vehicles and OHV activity and recreation. So it'll be another, it's a part of the discussion and part of the, you know, it'll be part of the evaluation, you know, that's in line with the additional material and data that's being collected in the park right now. And again, we'll have our state parks team and the contractors that work for state parks, as well as APC, will review that, use that for information and inform future air quality projects for the area.
Well, I can tell you, I live on the mesa and I'm still getting sand.
Oh yeah, there's still, you know, my boyfriend lives right by the beach, and I mean, it's crazy. So with nobody out there, it's still crazy. So,
Yep.
So we have a question from Jennifer. If the plovers are moved over now, are we going to lose the land next year because they now have nested there? So is that, so they're like wondering if there's concern for next year since now they've nested there?
Well, let's certainly hope that we can, you know, move forward through COVID as quickly as possible and kind of get back to some kind of sense of normal for all of our community and, you know, everywhere. But yeah, so, you know, we don't anticipate, you know, who's to say, but with camping in the area, with public activity in the area, we suspect, you know, the conflict of having a nest established in an area adjacent to somebody's campsite is likely not going to happen. So we don't expect to have to address those kind of issues. You know, we do, people have, you know, our visitors that have been coming out, you know, we've seen those kind of our responses, our shorebird nesting responses in the past, right? We've had nests established outside of our seasonal bird exposure. And when we do that, you know, our visitors see that the fence goes up and they can't ride there. And we do that, you know, protect the shorebirds. And so that will continue. But yeah, do we expect to see the same kind of level of nesting in the areas of like post 3 and post 4 next year? When, you know, hopefully we have camping and everybody's back on the beach enjoying the park, you know, I don't suspect that we will see that.
Well,
So
from my perspective, that's a spooky response.
yeah, hopefully, yeah, not. What is that? So could Kevin explain why the California Commission has so much control over state parks?
The California Coastal Commission. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a discussion for a different time, different forum. So yeah, I won't be going into anything like that today.
but
Sometime
that's,
we can have California Coastal Commission on.
well, yeah, right. And they were going to join the call, but so yeah, we can always have them on too. We
Yeah.
welcome California Coastal Commission to be on one of our learning
Yeah.
curve segments. We're happy.
Yeah,
to
and it's not. Yeah, it's you know, I understand the you know, the intent and the, you know, background of that question, and certainly recognize, you know, how our public see that. So yeah, I mean, we continue to work with the Coastal Commission on those development issues all the time, and we'll continue to do so. But yeah, it's not appropriate for me to, you know, get into a discussion on that, express, you know, those views in this forum.
So we have a question, Lisa, for us. Will the chamber be taking a strong public position on advocating for the reopening of Oceano dunes to save the local businesses?
Well, I can't talk on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce because we are right now just all volunteers. So we all stand on our own. But me personally, as a person that has a business in Pismo Beach and lives in this community, I will definitely be fighting for the dunes to reopen and to help our local businesses and our local economy. Absolutely. Val knows I'm kind of a crybaby, so I'm kind of tearing up a little bit. My heart breaks for Wayne and for all the other businesses. And I know it's not just Wayne. I know there's other businesses out there that are hurting. I am a small business owner myself, and this impact is very difficult on everybody. And the dunes brings a lot of money to our area. It is a fun place, as long as people are safe. And when they're not, I feel that maybe they need to have some safety courses. I went out there with my sons who were in their 30s and all their friends, and we safely had a great time riding through the dunes. We didn't go down any of the dunes until we saw how deep they were. We actually stopped at the top and looked, okay, this is okay to go down, and then we would go down it. We had a great time. So yes, I want the dunes to open. I would like to bring money back to Wayne and his family and to every other business that's out there hurting as a small business owner. So absolutely, I'm advocating for the dunes to open.
And I would have to say the same. I mean, I was talking to you guys earlier, and I hadn't really been introduced to the dunes until I met my boyfriend, who is a complete, he loves to go out to the dunes. He camps for weeks at a time. He does Thanksgiving out there, and he's done Christmas out there with friends and family, which I had never been introduced to, and I thought was completely crazy. But I thought it was a fun time. And now I've introduced it to my family, and I've taken them out there and my grandson out there. And it's a different experience. And like Lisa's saying, when you're safe and what you're doing, these are groups that have been going out for years and years and years. And my boyfriend, yes, he's from Bakersfield, and him and his family have been coming over since he was a little boy. So this is part of his family history, and all of his friends and family enjoy doing it. So we as a chamber haven't met with our board to make a final decision on because we have to vote on things like of that nature. But we are here to say that we are for having it open. And I get the frustration of the people and the business community. Like Lisa said, we're business owners, and it's hurting everybody around here. Absolutely. There's a lot of families that this is their outlet. This is what they enjoy doing, coming to the outdoors and having their kids. And it's a tough time, it's a tough time. Kids are going stir crazy. Parents are going stir crazy. Nobody knows what to do. And the dunes could be a relief to a lot of people and a lot of families. And so it continues to be a big frustration, and it continues to be a very hot topic for a lot of people. And that's why we felt the need to have you, Kevin, and Wade on here to talk about this, because we want to be involved. We want to stay informed, and we want to let all of you out there know that we're part of this. We're part of this.
Thank you.
Next. You guys have any questions for us? I mean,
You talking about me?
has anybody contacted, on behalf of the Pismo Chamber? Have you guys been associated or part of, or?
We're not in the office hardly very much at all. I mean,
even before COVID.
And that's gonna be my wife.
That's the wife. That's
yeah.
her. Well, I'm glad we were able to connect with you, though.
Good.
That worked out.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you too, Kevin.
Yeah. Thanks for the invitation. Yeah, we work with a lot of our local business partners all the time, through events or just building a relationship. So folks like you and other chambers, we appreciate what you do for what you do for our local businesses that we partner with. But, just everybody in the area. I mean, I live in the area as well, so I feel the impacts of what everybody else is dealing with. So, yeah, thanks for the opportunity to come on and have this conversation. And thanks for what you folks are doing for business community out there.
Absolutely. I will say that this is probably our most popular live stream of all right now. So that tells me that people are really interested in knowing what's happening there. And I guess, as you make progress and as we approach, that date, I'm already going to say that there's a good possibility we're going to ask you to come back on and kind of give us an update again. Once we get there, and hopefully at that time it's good news and people are back and, and you're back up and running, the businesses out there, and we can plug the businesses and say how people can continue to support you, and, booking their camping for the rest of the year and whatnot. But I know, that's hopeful right now. Things are up and down and changing day to day. So it's hard to say or stick to any specific date, and we get it. We get it. I think a lot of businesses feel like, yo-yos out there, and we talked to some other business owners where they were prepared to open and they invested all this money into reopening, dining inside, and we're open, 2 or 3 days, and then had to close their doors again. And
Doors.
it's just like, man, it's tough.
Yeah, I feel for them guys because I mean they did have, especially restaurants who got that instant shutdown, all that food, the alcohol. I mean that's just miserable. I'm getting beat up too. Don't get me wrong, but man, they really got hurt.
Yeah, it goes all the way around. So I think it's good for other businesses to hear your story and vice versa, and everybody's in it together, unfortunately. But I was just saying on our board meeting this morning, it's tough to even stay positive and to kind of be that person that's supposed to be your cheerleader behind these businesses anymore, because it's a big weight, when they're coming to you and they're saying, hey, we need help. We need you guys to advocate for us. We need you to, be there for us and support us. And, Lisa and I are like, we're trying our best. We really are. But ultimately, we don't make the decisions. Unfortunately, I can't pick up the phone and call the governor and say, this is what needs to happen, So, we do what we can in the meantime. I wish, believe me, I wish, so, but we appreciate you and we appreciate your time.
Yeah, my pleasure. And I'll certainly be, as soon as I have my dates, I'm going to be, announcing it to everybody as soon as I can. So I'll certainly reach out to you and
thank you.
Use as much reach and much opportunity to get our message out as I can to provide information.
That would be great.
We're just as ready to open up the park and kind of bring our visitors back as much as they want to come back. So there's nothing more that we've got to do than do that.
They definitely want to come back in a bad way.
Yeah.
In a bad way.
So they are saying here on our question and answer is the best way to support, again, for anybody that might have missed this, is please go to Friends of the Oceano Dunes today. So that's the best way that we can help support them. And Kevin, I really appreciate your time and educating us on why the dunes are closed and the ins and out of the dunes. And Wayne, thank you very much for your time. And
welcome.
Everybody buy gift cards now.
Thank you.
Cards on sale.
Yeah.
See, that wasn't so bad, right?
Yep.
See?
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, we can look for October. That's all I can tell you.
All right, we're hoping for October, so let's positive thoughts, and hopefully our next call.
And I'm not holding you October 1st feet to the fire because I know better, but October would be good.
Okay, you hear that, Kevin?
I hear you.
Talk to the birds.
Awesome. Okay, guys, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time again.
All right, thank you.
Hang in there.
Will do.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.